Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Nita Dianah and I will present the analysis short story The Sisters by James Joyce. Before starting, I apologize if there are any wrong words or pronunciation. So let's get started. Short story The Sisters by James Joyce. The short story was analyzed by me, Nita Dianah. First of all, the summary. The short story with the title The Sisters, author James Joyce, published in Irish Homestead. Date of publication 13 August 1904. The Sisters is an adaptation of the first short story in James Joyce's collected works, Dubliners, set in 1915 Ireland. The Sisters is the story of a boy who reflects on his time with his friend and mentor, Father Flynn, as he comes to terms with the death of the priest. After one night he dreamed of Father Flynn, he always thought about Father Flynn's death. Next is the theme. In James Joyce's The Sisters, the themes are paralysis and freedom. Taken from Dubliners collection, this story is narrated in first person by an unnamed young boy, and upon first reading the story, the reader realizes that Joyce may be exploring the theme of paralysis. The characterization of this story, the first is narrator. The reserved and contemplative boy who deals with the death of his friend, Father Flynn. The narrator avoids showing outward emotion to his family members, but he devotes his thoughts to the priest's memory. Others in the story see the narrator's relationship with the priest as inappropriate and exploitative, and the narrator himself seems unsure of what the priest meant to him. The second, Father Flynn. The priest who dies in The Sisters, Father Flynn's ambiguous presence in the story as a potential child molester initiates a book-long critique of religious leaders, consistently portraying them as incompetent. And the last, Old Cutter. The family friend in The Sisters who informs the narrator of Father Flynn's death. Old Cutter voices concern about the priest's intention with the narrator, but he avoids making any direct statements. The plot of this story is foreshadowing plot. The Sisters tells the story of a young boy who reflects upon his time with friend and mentor Father Flynn, while coming to terms with the priest's death. The exposition of this story. A young boy reflects on the impending death of his friend Father Flynn, knowing that after 3 strokes, the paralyzed priest has little time left. The boy makes a habit of walking past Father Flynn's house, looking for the light of the traditional 2 candles placed on a coffin that would indicate his death. The rising action of this story, Old Cutter comes to the house to break the news that Father Flynn had died. He hints that Father Flynn plans to prepare the boy for the priesthood but nevertheless considers Father Flynn a weird case and insists that the boy should play with people their age. The climax of this story is his visit to the dead man's house and his sight of the body. In conclusion, he has a sense of release from the influence of the crunch of him exerted through the priest. The following action of this story, Eliza remembered Father Flynn's increasingly strange behavior, which began with dropping the chalice during Mass. When one night, Pastor O'Rourke and another priest found Father Flynn cooped out in conventional box, longing to themselves, they finally realized he was sick. And resolution of the story in the final scene with the sisters eating, drinking, and talking are made difficult as death frames the activity. Even saying the corpse, the narrator refuses the offered crackers because he is afraid that eating them will make too much noise, as if he would disturb Father Flynn in his coffin. Father Flynn may be dead, but in many ways he is still very much present among the living. Point of view of the story, the sisters uses a first-person point of view because it uses the word I. The narrator never reveals his name and rarely participates in conversation. The setting of the story set in 1915 in Ireland. And last, the style of the sisters is a short story by James Joyce, the first in a series of short stories entitled Dubliners, originally published in Irish Homestead on August 13, 1904. The Sisters was Joyce's first published work of fiction. Joyce later revised the story and published it, along with another series which was published in book form in 1914. The story detailed a boy relationship with a local priest in the context of the priest's death and reputation. That's all. Thank you. Enough of the presentation about the analysis short story The Sisters by James Joyce from me. Once again, thank you. See you, bye-bye. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.